want to comment on the topic of the show and how FYF Lamont fits these categorizations, or if it's something else, or about what Robert was just talking about. If Tyson, if you want to go first, since Speem is here all the time. So
Yeah, we are familiar with Mr. Speem over there. Uh, Lamont, yeah, I give him. I say he's in the bully category. He could be a little condescending at times, and speaks to his basketball acumen because he's a coach and all those things, and try to make that seem like that makes him more knowledgeable, which in a lot of cases it may do so. Um, but I like Lamont. I like your channel. I watch a lot of YouTube content. When I'm in my downtime. So I respect all you guys' point of views. I disagree a lot. I disagree with Lamont. I disagree with you. I disagree with Beam. Disagree with the gentleman above there. But it's all just basketball, bro. At the end of the day. But Lamont, what I respect about Lamont is, you know, I don't think he has a problem with people having Jordan as the GOAT. I think a lot of his stuff is, the reasons for uh, people having Jordan as GOAT, the hypocrisy, the contradictions when they speak about other players and call them great, but then don't want to call LeBron great. Like big upping, Karl Malone and putting him above people with more championships, but then saying, Jordan has more championships. That's their go-to line. Oh, he lost in the playoffs. Malone was a chronic loser, but you know what I mean? They'll put him over somebody with championships. Just those contradictions in which way people talk basketball because of who they like, and not based off what's done on the court, or not based in fact. The fact that you don't like the decision and knocking somebody down in basketball status because you don't like the decision or things like that. That to me, that has nothing to do really with basketball. Jordan has character issues. Jordan, gambled and with drug dealers and all this type of stuff and got called in a court about it and all. And if I say, well, Jordan's not the GOAT because he gambled with drug dealers and got called in the court about it and owed all this money to people and he quit because of it and all these type of things, is that a good reason not for him not to be the GOAT? Or, I guess it's all opinion based, but at the end of the day, I think LeBron's a great player. You can't argue what he's done on the court, super team or not. He still led those teams without question. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. It's all subjective when we're talking GOAT.
yeah, I think with Lamont, I think your analysis of him is pretty spot on. I think he can be a little mean, but I do think that he will. I think for the purposes of entertainment, he will also contradict himself. But in respect to what you're saying, he is attacking. I think he tries to attack fallacies, but he'll have his own fallacies. But I think, but yeah, to your point, I think he does try to bully people because he is such a knowledgeable basketball mind in respect to the game itself. Listen to him talk about the history of it. I think he's pretty knowledgeable with that as well. So no, I agree. And I do think he is a LeBron. I think he's everything in this topic. I think it's a mixture of everything. But I do kind of think he's the president of the LeBron James fan club in ways too. But I understand otherwise.
Sure. I don't disagree with that. I think he does like LeBron James. He says otherwise that Jordan is, the greatest player of all time. But he definitely talks about Jordan a lot, talks about Kobe a lot, knocks those guys down a little bit with a lot of his content, or tries to anyway. So I can understand that, that point you're making for sure.
Do you gentlemen have anything to say about what Tyson had to say?
I appreciate your impartialness. I think it means a lot to be honest on both sides. Also, Mr. Thomas, if you are bald, I think you should come on screen so we can complete this group. If not, just stay off screen. Um, the major reason that people don't talk about is if we weren't constantly told about how great him and his camp is, then there wouldn't be as much of a fight. But people don't bring that up. You know, there's no battle to fight if the other side's not continuously spewing just nonsense to try to force someone's opinion. You know, it's like it's like when you're a movie critic and everyone says, well, all you do is talk about movies. All right, well, you know, this is where the NBA is. This is the, you know, where people die on their hill either way. And ESPN, Fox Sports, all those networks, they're trying to convince an entire generation of people of something that's just not true. So that's, I don't know, that's most of my fight is don't insult my intelligence and think that you can just bully your way into a quote unquote win.
In respect to LeBron and Michael, that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
And what the media narrative that what?
Repeat that question. I'm sorry.
The media narrative that you say that they keep on spewing. What is the?
Sure. So, in reference to the consistent records that are broken that never mattered until LeBron got to them, the consistent sweeping under the rug of what most other players would get caught with, the consistent lowering of other players' values to prop him up. I don't think that really started until the GOAT conversation became a conversation, because when Kobe was at his peak, there weren't people going around saying, well, he's the GOAT because X, Y, and Z didn't do X, Y, and Z. So I think the fact that Jordan is still held as that peak, despite all of these circumstances, speaks volumes.
I just think that's just the nature of entertainment. I mean, if you want to base your, you know, go well, I'm not saying you're basing it off that, but I think that's just the nature of with the Skip Bayless, you know, debate shows and all those things. You know, they're saying salacious things to, or not salacious, but they're saying things that are gonna bring in the crowd. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't respond. It's entertainment, bro. This is what the game is based on. You know what I mean? It's a product. So they're gonna do what they do to try to, you know, take advantage of such a polarizing topic, and
Polarizing.
YouTube does it all the time. This is what YouTube does. Like Dart literally makes you know, a profit off of talking LeBron and Mike. You know, this is driving, you know, 50% of maybe even more basketball content on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't get the ire about it. You're on YouTube specifically for that reason, Bean. You know what I mean? I don't watch your. I'm sorry, I'm not subscribed to your channel. But I can assume it's a lot of, from what you say on this show, that it's a lot of LeBron James topics. You know what I mean? Am I correct?
You are correct. And I have a response whenever you get done with that question.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know. That's why the FYF thing was, I mean, yeah, kind of funny, because he's just basically saying when LeBron retires, what are you guys going to talk about? Are you going to make Darius Garland videos and Mobley videos? Are you going to talk real basketball and not just all this narrative talk?
So
Are your channels?
Oh, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, my bad. You good?
No, so actually, I think you did a better job breaking down my point. So I appreciate that. What I'm saying is more often than not on the LeBron side, the response is one of a defensive nature. I don't feel like you and I are having this conversation now, but I promise you 20 minutes from now, there'll be another two gentlemen having it, but taking personal shots at each other. I find that more often than not on my side of the argument that it's more about not having history rewritten, right? Versus the fact that standards of the sport have gone down. I don't think that can be argued. I just think that if the other side, the LeBron side being said, is just kind of playing the game, you're right, as they should. I feel like that should be brought up whenever you're comparing the two players. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, how are the standards of the sport going down?
Well, I mean, with everything that they get away with in terms of dribbling, carrying, the reps consistently on one player, you wouldn't say that that's gone down in terms of standards?
I don't think so, because like you said, to the league wanted to prop up Michael Jordan in the same way they do stars of today. They talked about the referee talked about how they were emphasizing a call, and excuse me if I don't remember the exact date or the ref's name, but I do remember the story. They were talking about a call that they were emphasizing, this move is a travel. Then MJ did it in like the first half and they called it travel. And then, he goes back into the locker room at halftime and they say, well, hey, you can't call that. And he's like, what do you mean? We're emphasizing, well, you don't call that on MJ. And that was the referee's recollection of what happened. You know what I'm saying? So this has happened throughout the league. You know what I mean? This is how, like I said, it's entertainment at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Just like football and all those other sports. So they're going to prop up their stars and make their stars, gods.
Well, that's the thing I agree with you most about is they are seen as gods. They're worshipped instead of just kind of followed. And I think that's a big part of this. I will say, though, that just because it happened to Jordan once or twice, which I can't speak to that specific instance, that doesn't make it okay that it's happening now, right? Just because it was wrong during one era, if that's how you feel, that doesn't take away from the fact that it's clearly weighted in a way this time around as well.
No, I'm just saying, but to say that it's a bad product now, then you would say it was a bad product then because of the Jordan whistle or supposed whatever. You know what I'm saying? Of those things that happened back in those days of the Sacramento Kings, they're having a certain whistle for them in the playoffs that Donaghy the referee spoke about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if it's to have that same energy for the people that you want to call the GOAT or this or that, or they're better than LeBron, or have the same energy for them.
Real fast. Yeah, I just wanted to welcome Infamous Styles. Do you have any? Do you want to interject in this at all, Infamous Styles?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, first, salute everybody in the channel, and especially the guy that just talked. Now I'm gonna say I'm gonna agree, but I'm gonna disagree with you saying about that. Now I would say this because I watched Jordan, let's say myself, because let's say I'm in my 40s. There were at times I could say, honestly, as a Jordan fan, that yes, they did get him. Sometimes he did get away with walking. The biggest difference is now more people then were held to a higher standard of accountability than they are now. There's no accountability in this day and age. And the reason why the product is bad, and the reason why the product is bad, because it's how it is. Back then, you can go anywhere about a basketball fan and say, hey, I'm a fan of this rivalry of this. I couldn't wait for this playoff game for this, or this person trying to improve this person off the bench. You barely can say that. You can barely say that nowadays. And I'm not gonna say that it's all LeBron's fault. For me, it starts from the top. It starts from the top, from Adam Silver, the rules they changed, and all the things they do. That's added to the greatness of this the game today.
He said because back then they had rivalries and you saw players off the. I'm sorry, I didn't catch. Because they had players off the bench that you followed and this type of stuff. I didn't get all that.
Well, no, excuse me. I said only saying different. I said only saying different then. I said the game was much more exciting back then. I said too. I said it propped up more. I said players then. I said as a whole versus it is now.
Hey, Infamous, can you mute your mic when you're not talking? You're sounds like you're on a highway or something.
Oh, okay, I'm outside. Okay, excuse me.
Oh, that's probably me. I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a argument against that. If he liked that era better and the rivalries and he followed it more, I mean, hey, that's that's cool. Some people like today's game better. Maybe I don't. You know what I mean? Older guys, older heads, and I'm 43. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the older game too. But I don't want to be that guy. You can do that in anything. That's what we do as older gentlemen. A lot of times is the rap now sucks. I think it sucks. And that's fine.
Yeah,
but young kids love it. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't follow it the same way you used to do in the past when you were in your heyday or whatever. I don't know. I can't speak to that. That's more of an emotional response.
I get what you're saying. Like, okay, go ahead.
Real quick to Tyson. So okay, we're around the same age.
Mhm.
You still don't think that it can be said that the standard of whatever it is that you're interested in, rap, basketball, what have you, you don't think as an older person you can say because you've been there that this standard has fallen because of X, Y, and Z. And yeah, the kids might like it, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we can't see it as a lesser standard.
I get that point of view, you know what I'm saying, but again, this is cause and effect, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, the rule changes and those things they've changed the game. I understand that, but the game has evolved just like it evolved from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. It's just the evolution of the game, and if you don't appreciate that, then that's fine. But to me, you're just discounting it because you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Or because I don't think it was a standard. I just think you appreciate the game. If you like post play and you like mid range jumpers, then you love the 90s. You know what I'm saying? That's great. In the early 2000s, when the game was at a snail's pace and nobody and the people couldn't shoot back then, and they implemented zone defense. So you know what I mean? And the shooting was bad, and the teams were scoring 100 points a game. Okay, the shooting gets better. We take advantage of the zone now. We're spreading everybody out. You know what I'm saying? 3-point shot is considered a better shot than a mid range jumper. You know, so it just is what it is. I mean, you know, people, oh, the 3-point shooting. It's just cause and effect. We allow zone defense to come into play, and people couldn't score no more. And the game was a snail's pace, and the ratings were down just like they are now. And you know what I'm saying? And so the commissioner decided to do something, and this is what happened. You know what I mean? And the guys now, I mean, it's a different brand of basketball. I agree, it's a different brand. Totally agree. They shoot more threes. You know what I'm saying? And you know, just all because of cause and effect. You know what I mean?
So
I get
I
like,
think that's a no. Go ahead, Infamous. I'll wait. Good
well, not to
response, but
cut,
yeah,
not
please.
well. This one I was going to say to you, Tyrone. I agree with you're saying because
Not
we
wrong,
all.
Tyson, brother.
Oh, Tyson, my bad, my bad. My bad. Excuse me.
He got
No,
Correction
you're
he
on
good.
got
You're
that,
good.
called
Tyrone.
that.
But Tyrone though. But look, I agree with you said for to the part say for the part what you're saying because we all have something in our earth that yes we're gonna like certain things that other previous eras don't like. I understand. I understand that. I get that totally. But we're just talking about and saying as far as like the game of basketball in general. For me, what I always said as getting older, when I used to say this at first before we saying, I'm like, the game should just as it keeps evolving, we should see players that's better than Kobe, that's Mike, and things is like that. Now, some people that we say may say that from what they're saying, but us, like I said, people that's a little bit older, we're saying about that because we've seen all different forms of basketball. Even myself, now I wasn't around the 50s, 60s, or the 70s, but I always go back and I always watch other guys in their game and see the guys like saying that picked up their game and elevated for their game, saying for their earth. And I'm not seeing that for this day and age. Yes, there are guys that's athletic, they can shoot threes and things is like that. That's cool. But the thing is, as far as position, as far as like for the competition right now, we're saying we're just not seeing that. Yes, it's global, it's doing what it's doing because it's saying from what is this is built upon to, but it's just not that good. That's the
What
only
do
thing
you
I'm
what?
saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What were you about to say though?
I was gonna say, why you say the competition? Like, what is non-competitive about today's league? You know what I mean? Them dudes is out there battling in the playoffs, trying to get the wins. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. Maybe, I won't disagree. Maybe with the regular season in a certain sense. You know what I'm saying? But you know, what OKC's doing right now is awesome. You know what I'm saying? With
Oh yeah,
the
no,
Houston
now,
Rockets coming from
yeah,
obscurity
yes,
and Ime Udoka
yeah,
going over there, and what they're doing is
yeah,
awesome. You know what I'm saying?
and the Cleveland
Cleveland
Cavaliers,
Cavalier, you know, Kenny
too.
Atkins come over there and change the offense and change what they do, and it's awesome. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why we got to tear it down and we can't appreciate what these young dudes is doing. Shake Shen is an amazing player. You know what I'm saying?
But and see, I like that what you said, and we just missing those teams right there. And to me, that to me was saying what the main problem is. Those top teams that we're talking about, they don't get talked about like that, like saying and let's say not being
Yes,
up.
because of shows like this. Because of, and no disrespect at all, Dart, but because of the Rant Sports, because of the Charles Barkleys or whoever that shits on the game now and doesn't. Instead of shitting on the game, you can be talking about what Shea is doing. You could be talking about Mitchell and these young all-stars and Sangoon, Alfred Sangoon and these players that are playing amazing. You know what I'm saying? But we want to
Hey, can
spend
I,
our time talking about yesteryear and how good Kobe was. Kobe was great, amazing. Michael was great, amazing. But you want to talk about,
You see, Tyrone, this the problem though.
Tyson, man, Tyson, brother.
But this the problem. This the problem though. You right what you're saying though, but then when ESPN they keep bringing up LeBron, they keep bringing up other people, other people that was already there, and not the people that's doing it now. And
Right.
just like now, Boston just won, and like when they won the championship last year, they barely got any time. I'm like, man, they had an amazing season, man. They won 60+ games in this, especially they gentlemen sweep the Dallas Mavericks.
Right. Right. No, I agree with that. The NBA wants to push. I just don't feel like the NBA sees Tatum as that guy, right? So and the media doesn't see Tatum as that guy. So they're not pushing him in that light. And I understand that too. I think that's the problem with the media and the NBA as well. I'm not saying the NBA is without flaw, but it was with flaw back then as well. You know what I'm saying? If you want to speak to those areas as well, we just didn't talk about it as much, and we didn't have the outlets to talk about it as much. So you know what I mean? The cocaine era and all these different things. Imagine if we had YouTube now and all these people can get on here and speak in an era where they said over 50-60% of the population was on cocaine. The NBA, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you're right. I mean, no error is perfect. The only just difference is, like saying when we was coming up, man, they talked about almost every team, even the teams that were sorry. Like we knew like what every player was concerned was coming in. The players
I don't know if I agree with that, brother. I really don't, because we didn't even have this constant media of basketball. You had the Bulls on it was only so amount of games coming on, period. So, and they were highlighting those teams, the Lakers, the Celtics. It wasn't a whole bunch of teams on TV. That's just cap.
Hey, Infamous, real quick. I think I'm trying to see if I can pick up on what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we had a bunch of great teams back in the 90s, early 2000s. We were hearing about them all the time from the media. Now we hear about the same crap teams just because of the players.
What media were you hearing about all these teams from, brother?
Would you say the Lakers don't lead? The Lakers don't lead with every block?
NBA inside stuff. All the little basketball videos they used to have.
The Lakers don't lead with the A block on almost every show?
No, and I'm saying back then, the Lakers did too, and the Celtics did too. You know what I mean?
Multiple teams. Well, no. So that's my argument. It's multiple teams were put at the
A block. The bad boy.
It's one or two individuals plus the Lakers, and that I think that's what he might be getting at.
Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that. If I'm watching the game and I turn on what's the show called before ESPN game start?
First, I don't know actually.
You ain't even watching it, bro.
No, I don't watch I watch the game.
No, you watch the game, but I'm saying before the game, just like you talked about, they highlighted, so these teams or that team before the game on ESPN. What's the on ESPN? What does they come on Wednesdays and Fridays? They have a show that comes on Inside the NBA or something like that. I forgot the name of the show, but Richard Jefferson and the tall dark skinned female. You know what I'm saying? And Kendrick Perkins. They highlight.
You're talking about Get Up.
No. I'm talking about before the NBA games, right before.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea.
Right, and they talk about all kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying. But we go to YouTube and all this stuff to get our NBA. You know what I'm saying? What the highlight stuff. And sure, the debate shows are something different. They're going to talk about the Lakers because that's what sells. Just like you're going to talk about the Lakers and LeBron James because that's what sells.
And George Mikan.
And fact start.
Robert George Mikan, though, that was a great player.
Yeah, for sure.
Robert, did you have anything you wanted to add to this? You're on mute. I know you haven't said anything in a while.
Yeah, well, I was driving, so I figured I'd just let them hash it out. Like, going back to someone mentioned entertainment, and this whole thing really is about entertainment. But at the end of the day, the players still have to play. So, like, when they were elevating MJ, he rose up to the challenge. Like and this is my own opinion. So if you disagree, you disagree. Like, the problem is they were propping up Kobe to take the torch. And then Kobe had that court case in Colorado. So they kind of backed off of Kobe. I think that's why they tried to fast track LeBron. But LeBron couldn't, he couldn't come through the way Jordan came through title-wise. And I think what hurts his case, like, had he stayed in Cleveland and delivered 4 titles to Cleveland, I think he would have had a stronger case. But because he left that team and joined with 2 other superstars, I think that's really what hurts his case. Because like I said earlier when I was ranting, if you put Jordan on that Heat team, they probably win like 8 straight titles. Because just his mentality and the way he actually made his teammates better. Because the people use that with LeBron. Like, if he made his teammates better, why did the teams fall apart when he left? It's like Jordan retired and the Bulls were still a contender. Because but he was the missing link to
You
them.
giving Jordan credit for that?
Say it again?
You giving Jordan for the credit for the 94 season the Bulls had?
No, I'm saying, but as far as
Yeah,
the
you
culture,
did.
the winning culture.
You
Say it
said
again?
that. Okay.
You don't think
No,
George
say,
should get
well,
to the
if you listen to the other Bulls players that were on that team, they all say, like, if you watch The Last Dance, it's like, yeah, they all said that he was a driving force. Obviously, Phil Jackson set the culture. He
Thank
inputted
you.
the triangle offense, but Jordan was the heartbeat of that team.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. Jordan was the heartbeat of the team, but to discredit what them dudes did in '94 and say it was because of Jordan, to me, is part of the problem of what we do in propping up players
Wait, hold on,
not
because
giving.
that's
And
not what I said. Hold on,
and
that's not what I said. I did
you
not
did-
discredit that team at all. I was
No,
just
you
saying,
said you
if a
credited
big
Jordan with how good of a season they had when he left.
No, what I said was one of the ways they try to prop up LeBron is saying that he makes his teammates better. That if that's the case, when he leaves, why did the team fall off a cliff? And I was just
Right, so
saying,
you're saying-
when Jordan left, those players still balled out.
Because of Jordan,
Well-
and you're crediting Jordan with that. Because you're discounting LeBron for that, so you must be crediting Jordan for that, right?
No, I'm saying,
But-
if you make your teammates better, how come Cleveland had 3 straight lottery picks when he left? If he actually made his teammates better.
I think that what they mean is while he's on the court, he's making his teammates better. I don't think he means that they're.
That's a spin.
Yeah,
That's a
I
spin.
think that's what most people say. I don't think he says when they leave they're going to be great players. I don't think that's what they
Well,
mean.
I can make just real quick though. I can make one argument though about that '94 season though. The Bulls had though. Now, even though they
I
lost that
can't
series,
hear him.
can you hear me? Hold up. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
It's probably because I'm in my car. You're just coming through very faint.
Okay, well, what I was going to say now, the argument I can make about that '94 season, even though the Bulls lost the 7 games the same to that Knicks, you could argue about that game 5 when they called that bogus foul. I said when a defender went to defend that shot and he didn't foul the Knicks player, and they got those free throws and they won that game. So now that's not to say the
Yeah.
Bulls was probably
I can't hear him, so I can't respond.
I think he said that the Bulls should have. I mean, the Bulls should have won that game and gone on to the next round, but the referees called a bogus foul and let the Knicks win.
Yeah, correct.
But I'm just saying that, I agree with the that's they was in that situation, bad calls happen, whatever. But at the end of the day, B.J. Armstrong made an All-Star team that year. Pippen was a top 3 MVP candidate, and and they say and that team defensively was just as good without this great defensive player in Jordan, which we all agree he was good defensively. Very good defensively. Maybe a little overrated, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying that team was still a great defensive team and didn't skip a beat defensively when Jordan was off the court. So to say LeBron wouldn't have done this or that, maybe if LeBron was on that team in the 90s, they would have won championships as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's hypothetical. That in your point that Michael Jordan would have won this and LeBron wouldn't have been great on that Chicago team. Can y'all hear me?
I just don't think that LeBron's that's good of a leader. That's my own personal opinion. I just don't think he's as good of a leader. And that was evident in 2011. Like that was his chance to shine. He's the one that put that team together. It was his time to shine, and he was the 5th leading scorer. It's like when it matters the most, he doesn't show up. 2018, I'll give him credit. He balled out. He totally balled out in 2018. But when it matters the most, he doesn't come through.
I think you can point to 07 and 2011 as LeBron's, failures, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But pretty much after that, he's been very good in the playoffs.
Tyson, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Do you take into account his multiple Eastern Conference Finals? Do you take that into account in the successful side of things?
Of course.
You don't think it can be said that the Eastern Conference, while he was there, wasn't the weakest it's been statistically? You can't prove that. Like, if that can be proven with numbers, how do you factor that into a success?
What numbers are you? You basing off wins and losses?
Wins, losses, points per game scored, anything that's measurable. I guess plus and minus is the best way to do it generally. But the point of the question is him going, what was it, 8 or 9 straight times in the East? Is that like a plus for you? Because to me, it's like, well, that's great that he did it, but it just reflects how bad the Eastern Conference was. And I know that sometimes people don't see that argument as fair.
I mean, you can make that argument, and it has validity to it. But at the end of the day, he went against some very good defensive teams in those playoffs. The Chicago Bulls wasn't no slouch team. The Toronto Raptors wasn't a slouch team. The Boston Celtics wasn't no slouch team. The Detroit Pistons wasn't no slouch team. Even though they did lose Ben Wallace, they were still very formidable, and their record proved that. And their defensive rating proved that. And a lot of those teams had, while they weren't higher defensive ratings, I think, especially in the playoffs, I think defense is very important. And I don't know. Like, I understand the argument, but if you match up those teams, let's say 8th seed against 8th seed, East and West, 7th seed against 7th seed, and so forth and so on, what would be the outcome of those? It's a hypothetical, but I'm just saying, it's a good one. The East has always been a more traditionally has been a more physical style of basketball, a slower pace style of basketball. The West has always been a more higher pace, scoring conference, right? In the history of the game. Do you disagree with that?
I do not disagree with that at all.
Real fast. I want to welcome King Zay Green. I don't know if you've been watching the whole time, but 2 things. In respect to the subject of the stream, do you think that FYF is a bully, the president of the LeBron James fan club, or something else, or a mixture of all, or whatever? And do you have anything else you'd like to comment on the discussion that's happening right now?
All right. Well, what's up with you, man? I've been following your page for some months now. And FYF definitely, man, bro, he a LeBron James fan, man. I mean, it's cool. It ain't no problem with that, but he got a platform where LeBron fans come on there and express their sadness and all that. That's what he do. You know what I'm saying? He a content creator. That's what he do. So he get all the LeBron James fans together and they come on there and talk about us all day. They talk about other stuff too, you know what I'm saying? Credit, you know what I'm saying? It's cool, but like I said, he got Jordan the GOAT right now until LeBron retires. I mean, he trying to put pimping on Jordan level. It's all type of stuff, but no, he ain't no bully at all, you know what I'm saying? Bro, cool, I mean, he all right, but it's just that, I mean, he on that LeBron stuff, man, so it is what it is. But yeah, Tyson cool too, man, but he said Jordan was a little overrated. I don't know about that, bro. Talking about defense. That's what I want to talk about.
I think Jordan took advantage of the fact he had great defenders around him. We saw, just let's say for instance, like a player like Kevin Durant go to Golden State Warriors and look like a much better defender than he
Right.
was previous to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you have players and a scheme around you to allow Jordan to roam around and get these steals and Pippen locking up a player and forcing them into bad passes, Jordan playing passing lanes, which he was great at. I just think, I just think, and FYF, to his credit, highlighted a lot of these games where his player would do, a lot of scoring, or say because of Jordan's lack of, man-on-man defense. Now, when Jordan wanted to get in that chair and really defend somebody, I think he did a great job. But I think he spent a lot of his time roaming and doing things that the other players around him, Horace Grant's, your Dennis Rodmans, your Ron Harper's, your Scottie Pippins, allowed him to do within that scheme. And that's no knock necessarily on Jordan, because he did a great job at his job. I just think people overrate Jordan's defense. Now, I'm not going to say he's over. I think people try to make him like the lockdown defender of that team when he really wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got pimping and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's a great team. I mean, that's a great team.
Great defensive team. Yeah.
Great defensive team. Great team all around.
Great team all around, for sure.
Like I said, man, it just get crazy with this stuff, man. I mean, all these dudes are great players, bro. You know what I'm saying? It just, it's just like a lot of people get mad, when we say something about LeBron. Like, like I said, I call him all-time great, right? And I put him up there, and then they'll get mad at me. I'm like, dang, bro. Like, I put him up there in my top five. And y'all still mad at me, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's just an ongoing discussion, debate forever, bro. That's what it is, man. I mean, he's a great player, bro. I don't know what
He's a
to tell
great
you.
player.
He's a great player, bro.
If you got him 5, like I'm not mad at nobody's top
No, I ain't got him
10.
I mean, go
I
ahead.
I get frustrated with some of the reasons why LeBron is not in people's top 10 or whatever they have. I get mad at some of the logic behind it. If you think Kareem is better than LeBron, hey, by all, you can make a great argument. If you think Wilt is better than LeBron, you can make a great argument. If you want to say Bill Russell with his 11 rings and all the great things he's done for the league, no sweat, bro. But then don't say, he's the EPO king, so he can't be top 10. I mean, like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And until we get some firm evidence on that, then, and I know Speem I think Speem is tongue in cheek in a lot of some of the things he says, obviously, but but angry who's fan, they go on and say these things if it's fact. That bothers me sometimes. You know what I mean? They say these things if it's fact, and it's just not the case.
Okay. What bothers me is how the disrespect on Kobe name. Like, they disrespect Kobe so much, it's ridiculous. It's like a lot of them got him out his top 10. Now, I'm not even gonna listen to your list, bro. You ain't got Kobe in the top 10. It's just like what you said about LeBron. Like, if nobody have him in the top 3, top 5, y'all gonna say he crazy, right? You gonna say he crazy, right?
I wouldn't say it's crazy if his list is consistent and holds
Okay,
everybody to the
okay,
same standard. I'm not going to say
okay.
nobody's crazy for their list if their
Mm-hmm.
list is consistent and holds all these players. You can't say that, Jordan is 6-0, he's number 1, and then
Mm-hmm.
say Hakeem is better than LeBron if that's your primary criteria. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If that's
Yeah, I
if
got
winning
you.
titles is your primary criteria, then you can't say Olajuwon is better than LeBron. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? If that's the only thing we're going off of. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all the things that Olajuwon did in his career, just to culminate with those 2 championships. But he's done plenty of losing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
so just keep it consistent, and I won't have a problem with your list, bro. I promise I won't.
Oh yeah.
Real fast, I want
Look,
to welcome Kenneth Wright. Kenneth Wright, if you've been watching the show or in regard to the subject of the show, do you think that FYF Sports is a bully, the president of the LeBron James fan club, just objective takes, or something else? And did you want to add on to anything that anybody was saying?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I love Lamont. Lamont's my boy, but he's definitely a bully. He will get flustered if you come up there and start muting you if you come up with great takes. There's no way. I don't. Yes, he is the president of the LeBron James fan club for 100%, and his vice president is that GOAT James dude. That dude is I don't know, man. I just pull my hair out listening to him. I think listening to a lot of these conversations is context is never applied. Especially when you're talking to Lamont. He never really. I can't say I disagree with a lot of the stuff he says, especially because I think because I do feel Jordan is the GOAT. LeBron, his opportunity to take that mantle, he lost that opportunity in 2011. I'm sorry, he just did, and it wasn't just 2011. I mean, he's had a couple of times when I feel like he should have did more than what he did as far as winning, especially when you do what he did is joining with all these other guys and stuff like that. But I mean, my thing is why I feel that Jordan is the GOAT is always going to be that he never lost with home court. I don't think I've never seen him lose when he was supposed to win. I'm talking about a series, not a game. That's where the trolling comes in, and people want to go and pull out a couple of series or a highlight film or whatever. But no, there's no way that Jordan is not the GOAT. But I do take exception when I hear Jordan fans, and you guys have some that come on here that'll bash like in particular Scottie Pippen. But yeah, to me, Lamont and a lot of that crew over there is the same way as a lot of the Jordanaires over on this side, where it's just unreasonable conversations.
Yeah. Sorry. Robert keeps saying he's getting booted and he's in a dead zone. What's the most unreasonable thing you've heard from my channel, and what's the most unreasonable thing you've heard over on FYF's channel?
The way that Jordan's teammates are portrayed, I think is not fair. Like I was kind of listening, earlier. So I think the guy that's trying to get in and out, and I think the guy kind of caught him on it. Like the illusion that like Jordan made these players, and I think they all make each other better. Jordan wasn't winning nothing, and again, I stand on business when I say Jordan is the GOAT, but I'm not going to be unreasonable here and make it seem like he made all these players what they were. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I watched the maturation process of that team. Jordan as well. You know what I mean? Not just Jordan, like when Pippen said that, and again, it's context. When Pippen said Jordan was a bad basketball player, right? I remember those times. Jordan was looked at as a ball hog. He had to learn how to play with his team, which he did. That's okay. You know what
That's
I
why
mean?
Detroit
But
had beat him on times,
huh?
right?
Yeah.
That's why Detroit had beat him because he didn't trust his teammates, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, but
once
both,
he
yeah,
got trusted, yeah, they had to grow, and I'm not saying Jordan didn't push him and stuff like that, and do what he needed to do as a leader,
oh yeah,
but yeah, I mean that would be like as far as Jordan fans are concerned, as far as the LeBron fans, I mean, look, I never see longevity stats. And that's really what the argument is. Oh, well, he don't play defense anymore. He hasn't played defense in 5 years, right? If he really had to get out there and play, that's why he's a net negative when he gets on the court today, right? He is a net negative to the Lakers. Okay. He'll come up with these great stats, but it's all for naught. But like I think Tyson said earlier, oh, when you talk about Jordan 6-0, then what about all these other guys? No, what makes Jordan great is the combination of everything,
yeah.
not just the 6-0. Like I said, 6-0. But not only that, never lost with home court. No player, Bill Russell, name them. You cannot. There's no other player, at least other than Scottie Pippen, that I can think of that can say they never lost and won a few times when he didn't have home court. But again, and to me, I've always been of the mindset that while LeBron James has had a great career, when you're talking about, usurping the GOAT, it has to be like undeniable. It's like with no question. You gotta beat the GOAT. It can't be like, well, nah, man, it has to be. And to me, like I said, when you listen to a lot of the stuff that these guys say, it's cherry picking, like you talking about Jordan, Tyson, you was dancing around Jordan's defense. Jordan was a great defender. Jordan was an amazing, lockdown, get on somebody, that Doberman defense. Like, nah, man. Like I said, it's a lot of the just the disrespect that I hear on both. It's trolling. It's
I'm not
trolling. Like
trolling,
I just
brother.
don't get it, man. On both
I'm not
sides.
trolling at all. I'm not trolling at all, man.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying like every good because I think some of the stuff you said was reasonable, but I'm just saying like listening, like something, oh, what Jordan was, like in you, it hurt you, it pained you to say that Jordan was. I think you said he was a good defender, right? But you did say he
Very
was
good. I
overrated,
said very
right?
good.
Yeah, but you did say he was overrated, right?
I said some of the fans overrate him. Yes.
Well, yeah, and I did donate to your channel, bro. Uh, MJB1. So I've been watching from afar, man. I really enjoy your shows. So
Oh, I appreciate it. Was it a super chat or did you do the cash
no,
app?
it was a cash app.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. It didn't pop up. I might not have.
Hey, Kenneth,
There it is.
salute
Yes,
to you.
sir.
I want to go back to when you were saying this a little bit earlier. What do you think about like saying what Jordan teammates you said about them getting disrespect? I want you to elaborate on that a little bit.
Real
Yeah,
fast. I haven't seen it come through, but oh wait.
yeah.
Oh, here it is. Oh, and Tyson. Here you go. I never use Cash App. I'm used to the super chats.
Oh.
But thank you, Tyson.
Yeah, no, because I think you get it faster. So yeah, but
Yeah. Hey,
yeah,
calm
and that
down,
was
bro.
more just say I
Salute.
really appreciate listen to you, man. A lot of times I'll catch your streams after while I'm driving around to work, man. You get me through a lot of my day, so I appreciate it. But yeah, to answer the question as far as his team,
Mm-hmm.
what was the question again?
I remember you were saying about like you were saying like what you didn't like what FYF was saying about like LeBron fans, and then you were saying on this channel saying about what certain about Jordan fans is like saying about certain Jordan teammates.
Well, I mean, like you guys had the dude that sounded like he's from New York, and you guys were talking about Scottie Pippen. I'm a big Scottie Pippen fan. I think you guys just give Scottie Pippen no respect, right? And any adulation that you have to give him, it's begrudgingly, And I mean, look, let's just run it down. The fact of the matter is, and this is not a knock on Jordan. When Jordan left, The Bulls still won 55 games. Okay. When he came back, they won 72. Right. I know that they got some other players that go along with them, but if we're talking about Scottie Pippen, right? I'm of the mindset Scottie Pippen is arguably the greatest defender ever. Okay. Let me tell you why. First, from 94 to 97, Scottie Pippen was number one on all NBA defense. That means he got voted on first, right? I know it's the all defensive team. You got 5 players, but Pippen had the most votes. Why is that significant? Because that's voted on by the coaches, not his coaches. His coaches can't vote on that. The other coaches got to vote on that. So they felt Pippen was the best defender from 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. He got hurt, right? We can talk about, I hear you. Pippen, when he came in, he was, he wasn't a good player or this, that, and the third. Pippen was playing with a bad back that was misdiagnosed by the Bulls. Read his book. I know you guys didn't. We're going to sit here and give everybody else this leeway and stuff like that. How come Pippen don't get it? Pippen couldn't score. Pippen, which is crazy because one
Hey,
I think we need to stop doing is comparing stats across eras.
Well, I wanted to just speak for myself. If you watched the last week's live stream, I defend Pippen. I think Pippen is, they were saying that he's not a top 10 player in the 90s. I think he is. I think he's arguably the 5th greatest player in the 90s. And I think there's no way he's outside of the top 10 in small forwards all time. And I think he's probably in the top 5 of small forwards of all time on top of it. That's how I think of it.
No,
it wasn't you.
I appreciated that, Dark, because it was ridiculous, bro. It was ridiculous, the Pippen hate. And Robin is his name, right?
Yeah, Sports and Fitness. Yeah,
Robin's take on Scottie Pippen was atrocious to me, but that's But go ahead.
Yeah, no, it wasn't at you, bro. It was that the Sports and Fitness guy and a couple others that just totally, just disrespect Scottie Pippen. I wish he was on, man, because he don't know what he's talking about, But it wasn't you. And again, some of the stuff Sports and Fitness says I agree with when it comes to LeBron James, but I just don't understand, the vitriol that seems like people have, and yes, Scottie Pippen is a top 5 all-time small forward. Okay, in my opinion, he is. I got him top 20, right? And I also have him. Look, Isaiah Thomas has called him a top 5 player in the league in the 90s. Dennis Rodman called him the best player in the at one time he was the best player in the league. Dr. J said he was top 2. Larry Bird said he was top 2 with Jordan, top 5 without Jordan. Right? When are we just going to go ahead? Why do these guys got to sit here and lie? Why? And Isaiah Thomas hate his guts. They do not get along. Isaiah Thomas said he's the greatest defender he's ever seen. So,
and he actually shook his hand at that time that 96 Olympics. It's a video for that.
Well, let me say this. It really don't even matter what anybody say. George said it, he wouldn't won without Pippen, so it don't really matter what nobody else say. George give me credit, and that's all that matters.
So that's just my personal, but your boy FYF. Like I said, I love Lamont, but sometimes, man, some of the stuff he says, I just be like, come on, bro. Like you're not applying. Understand something here. In the NBA, okay, the league leader is based on per game stats, not totals. So as long as you qualify, you play the correct amount of games. If you have one guy that scored 3,000 points and one guy that scored 2,800 points, but that 2,800 points, he averaged more per game, he's going to be looked at as the league leader in scoring. Okay. Longevity is great. You want to call LeBron James the best old man we've ever seen? That is fine. LeBron James is not the GOAT. He's not. Okay. He is not. dude always falling all over the place. You know, and when people say, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna turn it back over to y'all. You know, I watched Victor Wembanyama fold him the other night, well, a couple of weeks ago with his hip. Skinny Victor Wembanyama, and he's over there laying down, all grimacing. But then I'm supposed to believe that this dude is 6'9", 270 pounds, that he could play in the 90s, but he getting folded by Victor Wembanyama? Come on, man. Come on. I know y'all talk. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No,
Who?
we don't know what you're talking
Man,
about.
Victor Wembanyama hit him with they jumped up and hit him with his hip, like on the side, and he fall off, and he's grimacing, and you know, he looked like he got ran over by a freight train. Well, I don't know. I've seen it. So
The LeBron James flops. We understand that. Yes, that is part of today's game. People flopping, get referees calls, blah blah blah. That is part of today's game. That in no way has any bearing to me on the GOAT debate. If you want to say Michael Jordan's better, that's fine. But if your talking point is flopping, then I can't rock with that.
yeah, it's not
You
so
gotta
much.
stop flopping, Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Is Scottie Pippen definitively a top 5 small forward of all time, though? Really?
No, I would
Yeah.
say that I think you can argue him out of it. I don't think it's concrete, but
It's debatable, absolutely.
Yeah,
But my thing is, I look at Dominique Wilkins, Dr. J, Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. I can't sit here and say definitively Scotty's better than all of those 5 of those guys. Now, he's in the second half of my – I don't got him top 5, but he's right there at 6'7". You know, after those 5, it's like it's him, Melo, Paul Pierce, Rick Barry. But you could argue him over those guys. But those first 5 I named, I can't. Besides maybe Dominique, I guess you can maybe debate that. But even there, I'm not giving him the nod over
Definitely
Dominique.
Dominique.
okay. So why would you pick Dominique Wilkins over Scottie Pippen?
Because Scottie Pippen to me is not an alpha. He's a great beta. He's not a number one. He's not a guy who can carry a franchise. And I know people are going to allude back to the 55 and 27 year, and they went to the conference semis. And if it wasn't for that bullcrap Hubert Davis foul, they might have. I understand that. But my rebuttal to that is the same thing that happened with LeBron James in 07. It's one of those things. 9 out of 10 times the Detroit Pistons would beat the Cavaliers in that 07 series, but it was just that one time that LeBron got the best of them. You know what I mean? That's the same thing with that Scotty here, in my opinion. You know, Scotty's a great player. I think he's more underrated than, if anything. You know what I mean?
So,
I think a guy like Scotty would flourish in today's league.
I understand your talk about the 94 year, but what year did Dominique Wilkins play that much better than Scottie Pippen and lead his team to any great depths?
Exactly.
I mean, Dominique, I hear you, but Dominique had a shit show of a team, and he was going up against the '80s Celtics. I mean,
the Bulls team wasn't no without Michael Jordan wasn't no team full of world beaters. So
see, I get it with the part what he's saying with Dominique and saying with Scotty and everything. If we just call them about individual accolades, as far as like scoring and things just like that, he got that. See, the difference is what makes Scotty better, and always when Scotty got the nickname for Scotty's Mr. All Around. He got all around game, and he just played his part for what he did, saying for what he does. And you know, we're saying coming in the playoff, he does step his game up, saying just like how Mike does too. Even though he's not like Mike though, we know that though, but he does step his game up though.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, Dominique had like what 10 years running the team as the quote unquote alpha. He got nowhere. Okay, yeah. Scotty, he did. Pippen had, let's say, well,
I also saw Pippen didn't show up in a lot of big games. Don't get me started with that migraine stuff.
I
played soccer with migraines, and I was heading the ball. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that crap.
Well,
I had bad migraine problems when I was younger, and I still played soccer.
You see, Dart, this is what I'm talking about. You see this stuff right here? Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Soft, bro.
Well, okay, hold on. Like, I don't know if you heard, I don't know if you came in what I was saying earlier. You just called him soft, right? This is the same Scottie Pippen that played the 98 finals game 6 with a bad back, right? Okay, that migraine you're talking about, people don't never take into consideration that Scottie Pippen's father died 2 weeks before that game, right? So I mean, we give Jordan all kind of understanding because he literally retired, and a lot of people allude to his father passing away. And I'm not going to sit here and say that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm also not going to sit here, whatever reason, right? I mean, Pippen put up with a lot of stuff from the Detroit Pistons. I think he got it worse than Jordan, in my opinion, right? Because Pippen did have that moniker that he was supposed to also. We can beat up on him and get him out the game. But the point being is that, like I said, when you're simply comparing Dominique Wilkins, I said earlier, Pippen, to me, there's two sides of basketball. Defense is defense and offense, right? The coaches felt Pippen was the best defender in the NBA, right? From 94, 95, 96, 97. Go look at the all NBA voting. The coaches voted on that. The defensive player of the year, that's voted on by the sports writers. I respect what the coaches say more than the sports writers. And again, Pippen, excuse me, again, the coaches cannot vote for their own player. So you're talking about the competition and saying Pippen is the best defender in this league. Okay, 4 years. So let's say that's 4 scoring titles.
But was he really a better defender than Hakeem Olajuwon? Let's be honest.
Well, why would the coaches lie?
I mean, I'm just going. I understand and I respect the coaches, but I'm going off eye test. I'm looking at a guy like Hakeem Olajuwon. He could guard the perimeter. He could guard down low. He could stop block shots. He can get in passing lanes. But 7 feet 270 is different than 6'9", 225, bro.
Well,
you know what I mean? The physique is also.
But for some reason, the coaches chose Pippen. And remember, Olajuwon was at the peak of his powers, right?
Don't get me wrong, bro. Jordan in 91, Pippen had Magic in shackles. Don't get me wrong. In 91, that finals, Pippen was giving Magic headaches upon headaches upon headaches. I watched that series, so don't get me wrong. Scotty is a great player, and he's a great two-way player. He's one of the best two-way players of the 90s for sure. But him and Hakeem, I mean, you can't go wrong. But Scotty definitely for his job in 91 in those finals, he had a lot more showings in finals games where, obviously it's the biggest games of the season. So he performed highly defensively in a lot of those games. So obviously the coaches are going to give him a little more grace because not only was he performing well, but in the biggest games of the season defensively, he was performing well. So I can see why the coaches could give him, but Hakeem wasn't. I mean, in my opinion, Hakeem's the most skilled and best center of all time, in my opinion. When you're going purely off skill, when you're going off, you know what I mean? Hakeem is the most, yeah.
But I'm just talking about when in relation to Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins ain't never won nothing. He never got no MVP. He never won anything. He was a great scorer.
True, and Dominique, he wasn't a great defender, but I'm one of those people. I look at Batman and Robin. Who was Batman? Who was Robin? Who was the one and who was the two? Like Charles Barkley said when he got KD so emotional. Well, you ain't driving the bus. You know what I mean? Like that matters to me. That's how I was brought up with my pops and my uncles. Like who's the main dog? Who's the head honcho? That matters.
Right, but that's fair.
One thing I gotta say. Yeah, one thing I got to say about Scottie Pippen now is, for me, I try to remove all the weird stuff he's been doing lately because going on TV, I think just looking from the outside in, and I'm not one to judge, but it seems like something is going on where I don't know if it's a money thing or if it's a mental health thing, but I think a lot of people have lost the appeal to Scottie Pippen for just how it seems that he's just giving the quote unquote insider information to the Bulls and all of that. I know this is detracting from the discussion you guys are having, but I think it's kind of one of the reasons why people have changed their perspective on him is because of some of the things that he's been doing lately. Because at least when I was growing up, the way I remember it, now I'm in my late 30s, so at the end of the second three-peat is when I was upwards of 12 years old. So the aspect of it is that I think a lot of people in that time thought that Pippen was one of the best players in the league. And it seems like it's becoming revisionist history but that's how I remember it. I wasn't an adult then; I was a child. But I mean, for the older gentlemen here that that remember that, was that not the case? Was he not respected and looked at
Yes,
as
he was looked at as one of the best players in the league. Yes, that's why I don't understand. This is revisionist history. I'm 50 years old. I remember he was looked at. Pippen was on the trajectory to win the MVP in '96 until he got hurt. He got hurt late in the season. But everybody was saying Pippen was going to get the MVP this year in '96. Yes. So I wish again, all this stuff is revisionist history. Talking about, oh, well, Pippen had a bad, this. The dude is playing hurt. He didn't retire. He didn't take a year off and stuff like. I know Jordan played baseball, but I mean, Pippen played more basketball than any player in the NBA from '91 to '98. You're talking about 6 title runs.
All
Then he
fact.
had two deep runs in '94, and then even in '95 where they lost to the Magic in 6 games. So I mean, at some point you're going to break down. That's what happens. I mean, we got to be impressed with the fact that the Bulls was able to maintain and do what they did. You know why? Because look, you got other great players saying this Pippen was one of the, at least top 5. Larry Bird said he was number 2 when Michael Jordan is on the team. Why would Larry Bird make that up?
95, 96, 95, 96. He played 77 out of 82 games, though.
Yeah, but he was playing hurt. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was on a trajectory. People were saying he's going. Even Jordan said it. Jordan said it.
Well,
He
wasn't that the
Pippen's going to get the
72?
MVP.
Wasn't that the 72
Yes,
win season?
yes, that was a
There's no
72
way
win
Scotty
season.
was going to get
Yes.
the MVP that year over Mike, bro. 0%
That
chance.
Mike himself said it at one. I'm
Oh,
telling you, at
stop.
one point, Scottie Pippen was looked at as this guy. Even in '98, we saw the news clippings that said Pippen was going to end up getting Finals MVP. If I'm telling you, if he didn't hurt his back in that last game, and then the exploits of the greatness of Michael Jordan in doing what he did, Pippen might have got that last Finals MVP. But the point being is like the brother said earlier, that, oh, well, he's soft. Man, the man is playing hurt. I mean, when MJB was saying about Pippen, like he had this mind problem, stuff like that. Look, when I'm having a beef with somebody that's costing me millions of dollars, right? The Bulls management and my so-called road dog, we have this because remember it was Jordan and Pippen and all them against the management. And this man publicly comes out and calls me selfish. Yeah, that's gonna sting, right? You're gonna call me selfish? You've been able to do whatever the heck you want to do. You retired, everybody respected. You got taken care of. You got paid. I get it. Pippen signed a contract. We can talk about why he did or didn't or whatever. But you got the nerve to call me selfish because they don't want to renegotiate my contract, and I'm also doing what's legally within my right. Because remember, he got hurt. That's what I'm saying. The dude played with a torn tendon in his foot in '97. But y'all don't seem like you're just like totally dismissed. It don't matter to y'all.
That's what I was
Well,
going to say to
don't
Dunk
get
real
it.
quick. Kenny, Kenneth,
he's taking
uh,
Jordan. You know what I mean?
the
It's like nobody likes that
oh,
Scottie Pippen talks bad about Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? You can't go against the world's favorite and be expected to be liked. But it's more about, you got to separate that. It's more about what's on the court and what he did on the court. As far as being a top small forward in the league, I mean, he's one of the best tweeners of all time. Like the small forward is that in between position. You really, it's a mix of scoring, rebounding, defending, everything. He's like the best person to have at that position. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about getting him the ball, and he's taking it away from the star players, things like that. And he fits in, and he's going to help get the job done to the tune of 6 championships. You know what I'm saying? You can't handicap him because he played with Michael Jordan. It is what it is. As a small forward standing alone, he has 6 championships. You know what I mean? So
Anybody that played next to Michael Jordan would probably be Michael Jordan's number 2. Let's call it what it is.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't play next to Michael Jordan and not be number 2.
I'm gonna ask you guys one question, just again, because I keep leaning on this. If Scottie Pippen had 4 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards, then would he be looked at as more respected?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I say once again that the coaches voted him as a bet, and remember the defensive player of the year is voted on by the sports writers, but that's respected. But when the coaches say, nah, this is who we feel is the best player in the league. This is who we got a game plan for on defense. Why does that not hold more weight?
It should, but it gets technical. You know, everybody's gonna look at the awards and but he has the accolades. He has the defensive
I get it.
accolades.
Yeah, I get it.
It's not comparable. His defensive accolades is way up there. Like that's what
He's
gets
right.
him.
Can I just
Exactly. That's what gets him up there. Exactly.
I feel like that's in sports politics though, BS though, because it's
Real
just
fast, I think Sandy Black wants to. I think Sandy Black's been here. I don't think he said anything. Sandy Black, you
Yeah.
said you wanted to say something. Yeah, just
Dot.
let him say his piece real fast.
Dot, I wanted to ask. It's a bit left field from what you guys are talking about, but it's sort of related to your topic. Do you think there is a cult around Michael Jordan and a cult around LeBron James?
Yeah,
In
it's
equal measure.
Rightfully so.
It's fandom. It's cult of personality. I mean, it's not. I mean, cult of personality is an extreme way to associate it, but but both players are all-time sports icons.
Absolutely.
I think Jordan is significantly higher, but in respect to his recognizability and everything he's done, but yeah, they if you want to call it a cult, sure, but it's fandom.
I'm a genuine fan of both, bro. Like, I'm a genuine fan of both. I don't hate either one of them. I'm a genuine fan of both of them. And in my opinion, it's literally not even close. It's MJ. And I love LeBron James. I think LeBron's a great player.
The reason
It's not even close. And the reason why it's not even close, it's intangibles.
the reason I asked that
Because now I'm speaking from an athlete point of view. I'm not, I'm obviously not LeBron James or Michael Jordan, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the discipline, but I knew what it took to become great. You know what I mean? I had talent in another sport, but discipline comes with being great as well. You need to be disciplined. That's what I try to tell my little cousins now. Don't matter how good you are, bro. It's how bad you want it and how much you're going to chase it. So my thing
tell
on
me,
that is Michael mentally, bro, from hearing, like, mentally, bro, it was a mental warfare with that man. He's not just gonna, and that matters in sports, because there's nothing worse from hooping, bro. There's nothing worse from somebody. I'm not saying Mike was doing it all the time, but if someone's telling you what they're gonna do and they're gonna score on you, it drains you, bro. It's like, fuck, bro, I can't do nothing to stop this guy. So it's not only that he's busting your ass, he's also mentally taking you out the game. And he scares the shit out of everyone like that.
So
What's
the
up,
reason
Cindy?
the reason I asked that is that I've looked at all this sports commentary, especially on YouTube, and especially around MJ, there is this sort of mythical aura about him. Where
Yes, bro.
No, just hear me out. So people will throw in things that can't be measured, like you're saying, intangibles and all of that, to sort of prop him up and make him this sort of demigod of a figure that can't be touched, right? And then sort of like for everyone else, I love MJ, but sometimes the diatribe around this whole thing is just it's just so toxic, because the very same way that they do it with MJ, where they have these stories of, he did this to me, he did that to me, the old heads and all that. In the same breath, you'll have the opposite effect, where they just nitpick and just tear apart any little insignificant thing that any other player in the current era does, especially with LeBron, because I'm guessing LeBron is the one who's propped up against Michael, So it's like this, it's this energy that they have for Michael, where it's like it's this reverence, it's like, Michael
Well
can't do no
deserved.
wrong.
Well deserved. Well deserved. You know what I mean? Michael
Is
Jordan's the
it?
icon. But if I
Is it
get
well deserved? That's my question.
overwhelmingly, but if I get a whole bunch of old heads in here, they'll start talking about Dr. J, Kareem, Magic. You know what I'm saying? So, but Michael Jordan's like, you know, it's
Yeah,
world renowned. It's world
yeah,
over.
yeah.
It's
So
well known, and they all give him the respect.
so that's why I'm asking, Era. I'm asking, is it a fair sort of uh balancing act when we comparing these players, when you have that sort of, you know, element of it where the stuff that Michael did that we can't be sure he actually did, someone might just be telling a story and it's just there, you know, it's like, oh no, definitely Michael did this.
The numbers are still there. The numbers are still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a, it's
I
a,
mean,
Well, I
it's, a,
want to.
it's by popular demand.
Yeah, so-
Sandy, so to your comment about the intangibles and stuff,
yeah,
you're right in respect to that you can't measure it, but there's this thing when you're assessing data, it's called, you know, qualitative data.
Yeah.
So you have an expert, or you have, and I'm not saying that, like, to your point, maybe a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but maybe some of these stories aren't true about Michael Jordan, and it's somebody's lying about it. But when you look at guys that have the experience, the expertise, or they were in the personal view scope of Michael Jordan, they say these things about him. That's just, you might not be able to measure it, but you have the qualitative data by an interview or however you want to put it. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's worthless. I think it's actually worth a lot. But in respect to, can you measure it outside of the amount of interviews of people that say that?
Yeah.
You know, it's not measured by a statistic or any sort of frame. So yeah, outside of just you know, words, but by numbers.
I think the stories add more to the mystique. We already know. We know about the facts, the numbers and the championships, the accolades and all. The stories add more to the mystique, and you know, it just makes them even more. It makes them even greater.
Yeah, so for me, that's the problem with when we're trying to analyze like basketball on its own. It's like all of these things sort of cloud what we're trying to look at. You know, let me give you an example. A guy like Stephen A. will say to you, no one will ever be as good as Michael Jordan. That's what he says, right? And it's those types of statements that made me ask my first question: is there a cult around Michael Jordan? You know?
Well, I mean, what kind of what imam do you listen to? What pastor do you listen to? I mean,
I'm not religious at all.
There's been someone as good as Michael Jordan, just not as great. I think there's a difference in being, you can be better than someone and not greater than someone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Example. Tom Brady is a greater quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers was a better thrower of the football than Tom Brady.
Okay.
Michael Jordan's greater than Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant's a better, more skilled basketball player in my opinion. I don't want to open up another debate, but Michael's the greatest. But if we're talking skill, you know, we saw someone as good as Jordan, if not more skilled and better than Jordan.
So that's another debate. I want to the skill one.
I mean, it's fun. Yeah, you can get into it. I mean, but listen, it's debatable. But I mean, popular demand would say Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
I like what Nick said about the great versus the best, because I think sometimes when we have these debates, a lot of that is conflated together. You know, that's why all these mythical elements come into the conversation, where you have like, oh no, Jordan used to do this and he used to do that. Okay, what does that have to do with basketball? Okay, let's talk about what happened on the court.
Let's talk about dribbling. Let's talk about shooting. Let's talk about passing. Let's talk about rebounding. Let's talk about field goal percentage. All of that. Yeah, all of that.
Let's talk about the stuff that happens on the court, right?
Yeah,
Michael Jordan is probably, I don't know, he's the closest thing to a demigod that we've ever had, because I remember growing up and I hadn't even seen this Michael Jordan person, and I had a Michael Jordan basketball jersey. You know,
Well,
I hadn't
we're,
even seen this person, what this person looked like,
we're
and
in LeBron James time right now, so LeBron
but
James should get the Michael Jordan hype.
no, but you can't do that because it's a different time. When
Yeah,
Jordan
LeBron
played, there were
James time.
three channels that play basketball on TV. You can watch basketball from anywhere in the world now on a streaming site. You can watch so much stuff. The amount of content that's out there, you'll never finish it. And we shouldn't forget that basketball is entertainment at the end of the day. So it's fighting against every other sport, every other show, every other series for people's attention. So we can't conflate the two. The early 90s and the mid 90s were a very, very different time, right?
Well, I'm just saying it is LeBron James' time right now. In the past 20 years or so, it has been his time. Like
Yeah,
Michael Jordan has had his time. We still talk about Michael Jordan as the
yeah.
greatest. And that's why you get the comparisons, because we're in LeBron James' time right now. So
Yeah.
his crowd and his height should be some of the loudest or the loudest, and compared to Mike.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I hate to do this, but I got to get going. But I just want to thank you all on the panel right now for contributing to this discussion that we had after the show. I thought it was amazing basketball talk, as well as everyone in the chat that's been talking with each other about the game, about what y'all have been discussing or we have been discussing, or the show prior. Do any of you have any last words before we shut this thing down?
Hey, I just want to say thanks for having me, bro. Salute the channel, salute the content, man. Keep up the good work, bro. That's all I got. Have a great day, man. And to the other guys on the panel, same thing as well, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
great
you.
show, man. You're up and coming, man. You're gonna be like one of the next big channels on this sector, in this section.
Thanks for having us. Bud.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Great show, and I'll definitely be back. Peace to all the guys on the panel.
Yeah, and I watch the show on regularly, man. So thanks for having me up, man. And thanks for the other guys too, though. And salute to the chat too.
Absolutely. Thank you for all your kind words. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Check us out tomorrow where we go on the Sunday live stream. We're going to be talking about Kobe Bryant. Would the disrespect still happen if he was alive? So that's probably going to be a really interesting one. So I would check it out if I were y'all, because there's going to be some there's going to be some conflicting opinions on that. I promise you that. But yeah, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, chat. Again, I hope you have a fantastic day. And Michael Jordan fans are the best.